Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here. We're doing another Khans of Tarkir draft. Swiss, of course, my style. Got a foil Jeering Instigator. I like him a lot. He's cool. Arc Lightning is okay, not amazing. Watcher the Roost, same sort of thing. Nothing super exciting in here. I think the picks are really between Jeering Instigator. Some people would argue Trap Essence, which I think is a fine card. I just don't want to take it first pick. I'd rather stay more open. Jeering Instigator, Arc Lightning, Watcher of the Roost. I'm probably a bigger fan of Jeering Instigator than most people, but nothing. I mean, I guess it's really between Jeering Instigator, Watcher, and Arc Lightning. Maybe there's an argument for Inoc Bonkin too, but I'm gonna go with the Instigator. As much as I like a good Arc Lightning, I like stealing creatures more. There's really good opportune times to do it. Well, we're kind of rewarded. Here's an Arc Lightning we could take. There's also an Heir of the Wilds, which is very strong. A little bit awkward to take a red into a green pick, as that limits me to Teamer only, I believe. That being said, I do like the Heir of the Wilds a lot. Abzan Guide is good too, but it's tough to go wrong with. Death Touch in this format's already strong. This guy is just a good beater. Really good beater. Savage Punch is good too. It's removal. I like the idea of flipping this up, stealing a guy, and then Savage Punching with it. That's actually it's kind of crazy. I mean, we're not married to the Jeering Instigator pick either. Arc Lightning is a good card. Might seem strange that I'm not picking them up, but I don't think they're as good in this format as they would be in other formats. It's still a fine card. It deals 3 damage however you want. I'm going to take the Heir of the Wilds. I'm not going to be married to either of these picks. I'm going to try and stay open and just take what I think are the best picks in the pack for a little bit till I find something that really wants me to marry that color. Huge fan of Feat of Resistance. I like Mardu Ward Chief. Horde Chief, rather. What did I say? Ward Chief? Teamer Charger's fine. He's efficiently costed beater. Timely Horde Mate is a good card too. All of those white picks are a little bit awkward in a deck that's going to run both Instigator and Heir of the Wild. So if I take one of these picks, which I'm leaning towards the Feat of Resistance just because I'm a huge fan of this card, just a ridiculous combat trick, I think. If I do that, I'm probably either going to be red-white or white-green. And if I'm white-green, I'm pretty much Abzan. If I'm Abzan, maybe the Abzan Guide's the pick. But I still think I like Feat of Resistance more than Abzan Guide. I'm going to take that. So right now, just trying to take cards that I think are the best in the pack, as I said before. So not a real solid red pick in this pack. I do like Horde Chief a lot. I think I'd be fine picking that here. Hooting Mandrills is a pretty good card too. And Blossoming Sands is, of course, some fixing. But I do like the Horde Chief a lot. Horde Chief is a good card. I think I'm going to take the Horde Chief over the fixing here. And that does start to marry me to pretty much Abzan only if I'm really going to go deeper white. But then again, I can ditch green or red at will if I see something that motivates me to want to go into that route. Like, for example, I can take Temur Charm here, which is just really good. I can also take the Mardu Rough Rider, though, which is arguably better than Temur Charm. I guess they're pretty equal. So if I take Mardu Rough Rider, then I can maybe ditch the Heir of the Wilds and start going that route. There's also a Ponyback Brigade, which is good if I have like a tokeny strategy going, which Mardu is very good at, but I'd still rather have a Rough Rider. He's a beast. I wish he was literally a beast so I could say that, but nope, he's an Orc Warrior. Yeah, let's take the Rough Rider. He's awesome. It's a great card. Wait, that's weird. I don't like how it's organizing this. Can I move them all over? Oh yeah, then it does that weird thing where it puts it all together. What's in this pack? Dragon Throne of Tarkir, which fully admit I'm a bigger fan of that than probably anybody else in the world. That being said, what am I giving up here? Salt Road Patrol, which is fine. Not amazing. Venerable Lamassu, not that amazing. Treasure Cruise, which arguably is worth a splash at some point, but you know what? I'm okay with picking a Dragon Throne here. Mardu seems like the right color combination to play Dragon Throne. Geez, just Sky Charm? That's a late one. There's also an Abzan Guide in here, which is quite good. Rite of the Serpent is fine. Not terribly exciting. Certainly not better than just Sky Charm or Abzan Guide. But that being said, I think I'd take the Rite of the Serpent anyway. I have a Jeering Instigator and a Mardu Rough Rider, which definitely motivate me to want to stick with the red plan. And my white cards are definitely very good too. I'm going to take this Rite of the Serpent. Certainly not the best card remaining in that pack, but one that is quite playable. Good blue picks in here. We got past a Just Sky Charm and a Warden of the Eye. So I could ditch black, even though I just took a Rite of the Serpent. I probably should have taken the Just Sky Charm. But then again, I can take Throttle too, which isn't as good as Warden of the Eye, but it's not going to punish me as bad, and it's going to let me still play the Rite of the Serpent and the Rough Rider, which I would still like to play. And Throttle's a good removal spell. There's also a Bonkin, but I'm okay with taking the removal instead for now. Alright, I probably don't need a second Rite of the Serpent. I'm not a huge Dazzling Ramparts fan. I'm not a huge Inoc Tracker fan either. Secret's okay, not terribly exciting. Problem with Rite of the Serpent, it's kind of expensive, but I mean, that being said, it is pretty good removal. Taking another 6-drop here. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm going to take it anyway because it is definitely a good card. All right, maybe we're trying to make a Goblin Slide deck. The problem with that is not very good when you've got expensive removal. Much better when you've got cheap tricks like the 80s band. I guess we take the Goblin Slide. I don't see why not. I'm not really giving up anything. All right, well, blue does appear to be open, so does Just Sky. But that being said, we've still got a pretty good base going here. Can make this work. Guess we'll take the Snakeskin. Shatter's not a terribly good card. Nothing left in here is terribly good. Swift Kick is playable. Not great, but playable. Active Treason with Instigator. Maybe it's a thing. There's a Mardu Banner, which actually is arguable here. Moves us to a turn 4 Rough Rider or Rite of the Serpents. I'm still going to take the Active Treason because I like it more. Banners tend to go late anyway. Alright, well, it's an okay start. Basically, I need to probably marry a couple colors more. If I'm going to make these Rite of the Serpents work, probably going to have to marry black a little bit more. Is Siege Rhino worth anything? It's pretty highly played, I think. Alright, Siege Rhino's worth a couple tickets, so I'm going to take it. Otherwise, I think it'd probably be a slam dunk on the Bellowing Saddle Brute, which is just a better card, but maybe I'd take the Siege Rhino and try and splash it. See how that works. I mean, it's certainly a good card. Abzan Battle Priest is quite strong. We've got a Fixer that doesn't really help us that much, so I don't think I'm interested in that. I'm going to start prioritizing land fixing pretty high this draft, though. If we see anything on color for any of these 4 colors we're trying to mess around with, I'll take it. But I think it's pretty clear Battle Priest here, which is just a good card. No land fixing for us, really. So question is, what are the colors I really want to go deeper into? I feel like I have to go deeper black only if I want to really make these Rite of the Serpents work, which I do. Horde Ambusher is nice because it doubles as both a cheap creature or a way to remove blockers. Also, getting rid of a blocker in the same turn that I take another dude. I feel like Horde Ambusher alongside Act and Jeering Instigator is very strong. War Shrieker's a good card alongside any of your morph dudes, of which we currently only have one, I think. Back-to-back Sultai Ascendancies, which is weird. I think we're going to take that Horde Ambusher. I like Swift Spear a lot, too. But the reason I like Ambusher here is because of the Act and the Jeering Instigator. I feel like if I'm going to beat down, I'm going to need some cheap dudes, and Horde Ambusher is a pretty good one. All right, maybe back-to-back. I could see that. There's a Trail of Mystery in here, which is fine. Debilitating Injury might be the pick as well. It's certainly, well, I don't want to say certainly better than Horde Ambusher. The way we're gearing up, I feel like Horde Ambusher is still better. Because like I said, how it works alongside the Instigator. We should probably put it in our 3-drop slot as well, since you're going to have to morph it if you want to do that. So it could be that I'm just going deeper red-white and then splash black, and maybe I don't make these Rite of the Serpents necessarily put them in the deck, but by the time I get to 6 mana, maybe I can hope to have enough black sources. I mean, Debilitating Injury is quite good. Still pretty interested in this Horde Ambusher, though. Is that wrong? Probably. I'm going to take the injury. Alright. I'm fine with Watcher of the Roost. Abzan Charm is, of course, good, but I'm pretty invested in red at this point. I've got 5 red spells. I could ditch red, which would leave me at 10 cards, and take the Abzan Charm now, which would help me play this Siege Rhino a little bit easier. I'm not a huge fan of that plan, because the red cards I have are pretty good, but I guess they're not out of control good. I mean, that's a fairly late Abzan Charm. I guess it's not late, but otherwise I take Watcher of the Roost, which I like. I'm going to take the Watcher. I'm going to take the worst card here just because I'd like to stick with my red plan. I'm kind of a fan of this red plan we got going. Like I can take Valley Dasher here, which ordinarily is a bad card, but when you're playing Beatdown, you can make it work pretty well alongside stuff like Horde Chief and Active Treason. Otherwise, there's a Student, which is good with the amount of, which is actually pretty good with the sheer quantity of non-creature spells we currently have. Valley Dasher is much more Beatdown. I'm trying to think how Beatdown we are. Currently not super Beatdown, but we could get more. I guess overall Student's probably better than Dasher, but for this deck. Alright, Rugged Highlands is going to let us splash Siege Rhino. And otherwise we're just not really giving up much of anything, so that makes sense. I'm okay with that. Another Dragon Throne. Alright, that's too late of an Abzan Guide, I think, to pass up here. So I'll take that. We're getting pretty awkward only because I don't have enough fixing to really make this deck as good as I want it to be. Okay, I'm okay with taking a Krumar here. Revelation's not bad either. I play a lot. I mean, I play 18 land decks pretty much strictly, so Bitter Revelation is a nice way to ditch excess lands. I think I'm taking the Krumar. I'm pretty close to ditching red at this point, just because we're still getting late Abzan cards. None of these cards really matter. I think I'm just going to take the Tracker in case I need it. None of these cards matter. I'll take Dutiful Return for the high removal deck. Alright, War Behemoth is pretty playable. We'll take that. Abzan Banner is a way to splash and ramp. Otherwise, I take Sidisi's Pet. If I'm playing 4-color, I'm going to want the Banner, so I'll take that. Alright, Dreadmaw. I don't know if I'm playing 4-color. I'm still on the fence about ditching red. Could also splash red for the Rough Rider, but what is that going to do? I don't know. I still probably want my base colors then to be white-black. I think I'm going to set the red in the sideboard. I'm just about ready to pop back into. I think I can pretty comfortably move into Abzan without hurting this deck too much. Yeah, I think I can. All right. So I guess we're moving into Abzan, which means I should probably have an Abzan Charm in this deck instead of a Watcher of the Roost, but I'm okay. I'm all right with the choices we've made. I think our deck is still looking okay. Despise is like deceptively good in this format since it lets you look at your opponent's hand. But that being said, I think we're taking Debilitating Injury. Although there's a good argument for Jungle Hollow here since we're going to need some fixing. But then again, we've only got 2 actual green spells in the deck. So as long as our deck focuses on white-black, we should probably much more easily be able to make the green work. And I think we may have to end up ditching the Rough Rider here shortly. But I'm going to take the Debilitating Injury because it's a good card. Alright, Deflecting Palm is cool, but if we're out of red, then I don't want that. We probably just take the second Abzan Guide. Even though it tabled last time, I'm just going to want it. If I'm going to be in these colors, I'm going to want some powerhouse spells like Abzan Guide, which are very good. So, there you go. There's my reasoning. I mean, considering we just cut like 5 spells from our deck, we still have 19 playables. I think the main issue with this deck is our lack of fixing. This Rugged Highlands is actually deceptively good if we want to splash Mardu Rough Rider, since it poses both a green source, our splash color, or a red source, potentially our other splash color. Nothing too good for us here, unfortunately. I think I'd take the Take Up Arms, but I'm trying to think if that's even good for us. We don't have any, I guess it's good with Dragon Throne. If I'm making the Dragon Throne work. I don't really like Defiant Strike all that much in this deck. I don't feel like we capitalized on it enough. And I guess Take Up Arms can be a combat trick potentially. Combat trick in that you put the dudes out and, you know, block, surprise blocks, I guess is what I'm trying to say, which can be good. All right, I'll take the Take Up Arms. All right, Blood-Soaked Champ seems fine. It's something to do early and it comes back. Otherwise, Bitter Revelation is also fine, but I'll take Blood-Soaked Champ. I'm okay with that. I'd like at least 2 more pieces of fixing, or we're going to have a harder time making these green spells work. But then again, I guess we have the banner already. Could take the Bloodfell Caves, which would help splash the Rough Rider as well. But I also am a fan of Hateblade because Death Touch is good. It's certainly good with a Molting Snakeskin if I want to make that work. The Bloodfell Caves just helps us splash for Rough Rider, which we may or may not even need in this deck, since we're already pretty light on the green. I'm going to take the Hateblade here, I think. I'm okay with that. Alright, third injury seems pretty insane. Don't have a ton of creatures in this deck, but our removal is looking very good. And Debilitating Injury is quite good. I could easily cut Rough Rider for it. Even though Rough Rider's good, like I said, we're kind of just pretty light green splash in this deck. And Debilitating Injury does a lot of work. It really does. Another Rough Rider? Jeez. I probably need creatures. Take Up Arms counts as a creature, so we really have like 12 in our deck, which isn't terrible. We don't really have a need for the mill of Bitter Revelation, but the card advantage aspect of it is pretty appealing. What's the next cut? Probably either the banner, which I guess I can get behind cutting banner. Even though we don't have green fixing, I can get behind cutting banner. And then I probably take the Salt Road Patrol because it's an okay card in general. All right. Despise tabled, which I can probably take, although I don't know what I'm playing it over. This is looking less like a Dragon Throne deck. I just don't really have enough creatures to support it. So let's probably cut the Dragon Throne. And I guess we can take a Despise. That's all right. Another Despise? I'm going to take the War Behemoth over the second one. What am I cutting for War Behemoth? These are actually, this seems like a fine card to have in our deck, mostly because we're not looking as aggressive with all this removal. I'm going to cut Molting Snakeskin because it's not all that great for our deck. I'm going to take War Behemoth pretty happily here, I think. It's not an amazing card, but like I said, it seems fine for our deck. I could take a third Rite of the Serpent, but I really don't think we need it. So I'm going to take this Erase for the sideboard, which is nice to have against Ascendancies. Rakshaw's a secret. Yeah, maybe I find a use for it out of sideboard, possibly. Could take the War Banner. Between War Banner and Rugged Highlands, I could probably splash Rough Rider, but I'm not going to. We don't have any fixing for our deck, so having only 3 green cards is just going to be a lot easier to run with. I'm going to hate this Tuscalocedon, which can be annoying, and I'll hate the 2-drop here. Well, it's pretty late War Behemoth. I might actually be able to make a third War Behemoth work in here. I guess we'll find out. Maybe not. Overall, this deck seems fine. It's certainly not amazing, but it's removal heavy, which is nice. I think we're probably cutting the Despise for a third War Behemoth. Especially, this will give us higher upside rewards for playing all the removal. These huge bodies can hold down the fence. We can remove stuff that's pesky. And then probably win with... I mean, we have 15 creatures with Take-Up Arms counted as a creature, which I'm still doing. Our removal is triple Debilitating Injury, Throttle, double Rite of the Serpent, which is certainly enough removal. It's just like a nothing flashy sort of deck. I think that's basically what it is. The reason I'm not playing Abzan Banner is I don't feel like I need it. It's kind of competing with our Morph guys. And even though we don't have any green fixing, I just don't think we need it. I don't feel like if I'm playing 18 lands, I don't feel like I need a ramp element so much. There might be a decent argument for cutting Bloodsoaked Champ, but considering I have all these debilitating injuries, I feel like Bloodsoaked Champ could get in there for a lot of damage. And 15 creatures is just a really nice number to have. I guess Take Up Arms is kind of unexciting in here, but I don't think I can get away with splashing Rough Rider since I just don't have any green fixing, so... I still don't really like Dragon Throne in here enough to justify putting it in. Yeah, I think we're fine. Like I said, this deck's not terribly good, but it's not awful. We actually have a deck that's not impacted too bad by not having fixing, since we only have 3 spells that require a third color. So we can probably get away with, like, especially since only one of them, we can probably get away with 4 green sources for 3 spells, since 2 of them are morph. Yeah, I mean, our mana base is a little bit rough, but it's not terrible. 7/7. I don't typically like to do that. What do our colors look like again? More white than black, but I definitely need black early for the debilitating injuries. This deck could easily have some mana issues, but like I said, we only have 3 green spells, 2 of which can be Gray Ogres until we find one of our green sources. Siege Rhino definitely wants you to find it as soon as possible. I think overall it's kind of a weak deck, only because we lose to high impact draw spells. Like, I feel like Treasure Cruise does a big number against us. I feel like End Hostilities and Dune Blast do a big number against us, but that being said, we do have very good spot removal. And we've got some real threats here. All the lifelink brings you back in the game, which is nice. We've got some good, dudes that just block well. All right, well, I guess I got to run it like this. So we'll see how we do. I'll see you round one.